The Haunting of Ravenswood University. I stepped out of my car and onto the crumbling asphalt of Ravenswood University's parking lot. As a paranormal investigator, I'd heard whispers about this place being one of the most haunted campuses in the country. My name is Leo, and I was about to spend a night in the notorious Miller Hall. 11:45 p.m. I grabbed my equipment bag and began walking toward the entrance of Miller Hall. The wind howled through the trees, casting long, ominous shadows on the ground. I could feel the weight of history bearing down on me. As I pushed open the creaky front door, a chill ran down my spine. The lobby was dimly lit, with only a few flickering fluorescent lights to guide me. I set up my camera and audio equipment, trying to shake off the feeling of being watched. 12:20 a.m. Suddenly, the lights in the hallway began to flicker wildly. I felt a surge of adrenaline as I realized I was not alone. I slowly turned the handle and pushed open the door to room 314. The room was freezing cold, and I could see my breath misting in the air. I stepped inside, my eyes adjusting to the darkness. That's when I saw it. A figure, standing in the corner of the room, watching me. 12:30 a.m. My heart racing, I tried to speak, but my voice caught in my throat. The figure began to move closer, its presence filling the room with an unspeakable horror. I raised my camera, trying to capture evidence of the paranormal activity. But as I looked through the lens, I realized that the figure was no longer alone. There were others surrounding me, their eyes glowing with a malevolent light. 12:40 a.m. I tried to run, but my feet felt heavy as if rooted to the spot. The figures closed in, their whispers growing louder, a cacophony of terror that threatened to consume me. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the floor, my equipment scattered around me. The room was silent, the figures gone. But as I stumbled to my feet, I knew that I had to get out of there fast. I grabbed my equipment and ran, not stopping until I was back in my car, speeding away from Ravenswood University. My roommate and his girlfriend had left me home alone to go grocery shopping. I was sitting in our computer room in the middle of the house on the side of the room closest to the front of the house between the kitchen and living room, when I hear what sounded like cowboy boots on a hardwood floor coming from my bedroom in the back of the house. But it was like they were in slow motion. Like I'd hear the heel, then the flat part of the boot hit the floor 2 seconds later. 2 seconds after that, the floor would creak, followed by the heel of the other boot. 2 seconds later, and repeat. Suspensefully slow and unmistakably loud footsteps. I heard this come all the way up the hallway from my bedroom and into the kitchen. Obviously, by then I was freaked out a bit as I was watching the kitchen doorway. It stopped in the doorway and nobody was there. About 10 seconds later, they started again, coming straight at me from the kitchen doorway. I was watching the floor where the sound was coming from each step but didn't see anything. It finally stopped about 3 feet from me and all of my hair stood up. I literally jumped up and yelled, "What the F do you want?" before darting out the front door and didn't go back in until my friends got back home. The next morning, I remember that had happened once before, and I guess I'd repressed the memory. The week my grandfather died, my family left me at my grandparents' house as they went to pick out his casket. Same thing, delayed footsteps started in the hallway coming from my grandparents' bedroom. Stopped in the opening of the kitchen. 10 years old me had already bolted to the door when I heard footsteps and was standing at the door. When they started across the kitchen, I darted outside and didn't go back inside until family got back. Those happened when I was about 10 and 20. I'm 43, and it's never happened again. This is the late 80s, early 90s. I was around 6 to 7 years old. I am at home with my sister, who is 14 to 15 at the time. We grew up in a small Texas town. Everyone knows everybody. We are home alone this particular night, and my folks let my sister babysit me frequently. We always got along due to our age gap. Anyway, it is about 8 p.m. in the winter. Deserts get pretty damn cold, so it is dark, and we are in the common room since that is where the TV was. Watching 60 Minutes or 48 Hours or Hard Copy or some shit. Those one-hour news pieces on CBS that chronicle large crimes in depth. Trafficking, murders, kidnappings, and the like. Basically a gritty Lifetime special. This one was a typical story. Guy next door that was quiet went on a rampage in his next-door neighbor's house, mutilating them and kidnapping their young daughter. Well, the thing about our house common room is the door leading to the backyard was a large glass door on a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows. Nothing but blackness beyond it unless you have the backlight on. We did not. The front door is on the other side of the room with a small entryway. This is a solid door, so you cannot see what is beyond it, with a glass storm door on the outside of it. About 45 minutes into the show, they are talking about the ongoing manhunt for this crazy guy, and bam, bam, bam. Front door bangs like crazy. We jump the fuck up and scream like banshees. Dead silence now. The only lights on in the house are the kitchen down the hall from the common room we were in, and the light from the TV. We start thinking something on the porch. We had some planters and a rocking chair out there. Had simply blown against the door. This was West Texas. Crazy strong winds out that way. Well, a minute or two of silence, and us holding each other post-adrenaline overdose passes. Just when we are about to declare everything is safe, we hear the storm door on the outside of our front door close. Fuck. Someone had to have opened that door to be able to bang on the front door like that. Shit, shit, shit. We are both frozen in the middle of the room on the floor where we had been watching TV. My sister crawls over to the TV and turns it off. It was an old TV, so you had to turn that metal dial to switch it off, which it does with a mildly loud thunk. Now, it is just us in a room dimly lit by the kitchen light down the hall. I do not remember how much time passed with my frozen and my sister still crouched by the now off TV, but we kept making eye contact, then looking at the front door. I remember this part vividly. I am on my knees, sitting on my feet, and I turn around to look at the back wall of windows and glass door. We hear, and I see the back door knob turn. It was locked on the knob, but not deadbolted. It rattles slightly as if someone is gently trying the handle. Neither of us make a sound, just held breath. Then bam, 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 loud as all hell, someone is trying to force the door open, just jerking it back and forth. The whole wall of windows is vibrating violently, and I can see with each jerk of the door how my slight reflection gets fuzzy, then clear, then fuzzy. My sister flips her shit and screams bloody murder. I am still frozen on the floor. She gets up and basically drags me into her bedroom, slams the door, throws her mattress and anything she can in front of her door. Thankfully, she had remembered the phone, one of those ungodly heavy beige plastic long metal antenna portable phones. We still had to direct dial the sheriff there, and in her panic didn't remember the number. She just hit redial on the phone. It was one of her friends, and she tells them in broken gasps that someone is trying to get into our house and needs to get there right fucking now. The profanity sticks out here more than anything else, who knows? Young brain. I am curled up on the floor and cannot stop shaking. We don't hear anything else until we see the headlights of my sister's friend and her parents driving up to the house. We never did find out who was at the door or why. There were no signs of anything happening but a couple of scuff marks on the bottom of the back door that we could not remember if they were there beforehand or not. Nothing like that has happened to me or her since, but for damn sure we never forget to lock a door after that.